The word Judge Judy conjures up what mental pictures in your mind. Her no-nonsense attitude, sharp tongue, and infamous ability to end courtroom drama with a single look are likely the reasons most people attribute it to. We all now revere and, dare I say it, dread this stern judge because of her. In contrast to her orderly court rulings, Judge Judy's private life is in utter disarray. What would your reaction be if I were to tell you that? In instance, her love life is a disaster. Witness the wild and unpredictable love life of Judge Judy as we take a peek behind the scenes in this video. But just who is Judge Judy? Explain how she rose to the position of most beloved judge in the world. Judith Susan Blum was formerly known just as Judge Judy before becoming the undisputed queen of daytime television, a tough, ambitious, and fearless Brooklynite. With Jewish, Russian, and German ancestors, she grew up in a loving and religious home. The world, in her eyes, belonged to her dentist, Father Murray, whom she adored. Ethel, her mother, was the showrunner and office manager, keeping everything running smoothly with her practical and no-nonsense attitude. The combination of comedy and toughness that Judy possesses is easy to describe. It was clear right away what Judge Judy was trying to do. In 1961, after finishing high school in Brooklyn at James Madison High School. Though she wasn't the kind to rest on her laurels, she went on to earn a degree in government from American University in Washington, D.C. Judy defied the odds by choosing to attend law school during a period when women were marginalized in the profession. She made it to the JD after finishing college, was prepared to make an impact in the legal field upon graduating in 1965 from New York Law School. At first glance, her position as cosmetics company's corporate lawyer seemed ideal, but she knew right away that it wasn't going to work for her. 2 years of uninterestedness and lack of inspiration led her to decide to leave and concentrate on raising her children, Jamie and Adam. You would be mistaken to think that she was ready to settle down. A friend of hers informed her about a position opening up in the family court system in New York in 1972. She finally discovered her life's purpose after being intrigued enough to give it a go. While prosecuting cases in family court, Judge Judy stayed out of the meat and potatoes. She jumped without thinking. Cases involving child abuse, juvenile crime, and domestic violence are part of her work, which would make most people shudder. Her reputation for courage, resolve, and agility in court was built on her no-nonsense attitude. New York City Mayor Ed Koch elevated her to the position of criminal court judge in 1982 in recognition of her achievements. After 4 years on the bench, she was moved to supervising judge in Manhattan's family court, where she gained renown for her severe, no-nonsense approach. The courage of Judge Judy was widely acknowledged outside of the courtroom, and by 1993, a column lauding her had appeared in the Los Angeles Times. She is a courageous woman with a great will to improve the justice system. Judy rose from the ranks of judge to celebrity after the piece was expanded into a 60-minute special. In 1996, she stepped down from her position after authoring "Don't Pee on My Leg" and "Tell Me It's Raining" and hearing more than 20,000 cases. The time I spent retiring was brief, though. Her namesake show premiered soon after, solidifying her status as a U.S. television star. Something completely unprecedented in the history of television occurred in 1995. The first ever courtroom reality show included Judge Judy Schindlin's ceremonial swearing in. Simplicity was the key to this game-changing idea. Instances where an unafraid judge established the law and then made beautiful, authentic conclusions that left no space for debate. Under its original title, Judge Judy, the show premiered on September 16, 1996. It was unimaginable that this show would become so popular that millions of people would love it and watch it every single day for 25 years straight. Owning the airwaves all day long. In contrast to the pilot, Judge Judy is known for her ferocity, lightning-fast decision-making, and biting sense of humor. But she had advocates on her side in the courtroom. With her was Gitry Bird, better known to viewers as Bird. Their collaboration wasn't a show. Yes, solid groundwork was laid. Bird had the opportunity to serve as bailiff for Judge Judy in Manhattan Family Court a few years before Judy's debut. as well as what seemed to be an inherent chemical bond between the two, their unparalleled connection on screen cemented their position as television courtroom legends. Judge Judy revolutionized daytime television and enjoyed 25 successful seasons. With an average of 9 to 10 million people per day, the show often surpassed daytime heavyweights like Oprah Winfrey's show and Nielsen ratings. By 2009, its ratings and viewership had surpassed those of any other courtroom program. And that was its function right up till 2021 came to a close. But why was the show so well-liked? But there was more than simply entertainment value for the audience. Everything went according to plan when it came to the administration of justice. Arguments that dragged on or attempted to skirt the law were not tolerated by Judge Judy. The audience cheered while the people in charge shivered at her lightning-fast decision-making, listening, and ruling abilities. She brought much-needed relief with her verdicts at a time when the courts seemed mired in bureaucracy and never-ending delays. On a national scale, who can resist seeing a deserving individual scolded? Judy Garland's charisma was felt far beyond the realm of television. Americans trusted her more than the U.S. Supreme Court, according to a 2013 Reader's Digest survey, because of her enormous impact. She rose to the status of cultural icon rather than only that of a television judge. From Saturday Night Live to The Simpsons, she was mentioned everywhere. In addition, VH1 ranked her among the 200 most influential persons in pop culture. Even Hollywood was not immune to her impact. Among her many achievements, she was honored with 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2006 and an induction into the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame in 2012. Accolades such as the Gracie Allen Tribute and the Mary Pickford Award further solidified her reputation as a trailblazing figure who was more than just a TV personality. In spite of this, her story isn't limited to her time in court, as we'll see. Her private life is every bit as interesting as the cases she's presided over. At the tender age of 21, in 1964, Judy wed her co-worker, the attorney Ronald Levy. It appeared to be the beginning of something major for a while. She had ambitious plans, a strong work ethic, and was prepared to face the challenges of the real world upon graduation from law school. They settled down without wasting a moment. Judy quickly became a mother to Jamie and Adam, while also constructing their own American dream. Things began to go wrong, though, at this stage. Ronald was not as dogged or determined as Judy, even though he had a successful career as a lawyer. She worked in what seemed to him like a pastime rather than a serious profession. You should try reminding Judy that she is just as ambitious and intelligent as you are. When her plans fell through, Judy wasn't the type to sit back and be satisfied. Rather, she would quickly get anxious. She aspired to be the preeminent lawyer on the planet. Despite Ronald's unwavering support, she felt that she was constantly facing challenges. At home, Judy attempted to balance her roles as a wife, mother, and aspiring professional. On the other hand, her marital problems intensified. Their former alliance began to feel more like a trap as her resentment of Ronald's apathy grew. The relationship was stunting Judy's personal development, but her fierce independence made it impossible for her to stay. After 12 years of trying, Judy finally gave up in 1976. She felt her potential was being wasted in her marriage, so she made the decision to get a divorce. Deciding was a challenge. A watershed moment came when I chose to care for 2 small children without the security of a spouse. Divorce meant more than just the end of a marriage. In that very moment, Judy made up her mind that she would live her life independently from that point on. That laid the groundwork for all subsequent developments. She became one of television's most famous faces due to her storied career, legendary attitude, and unapologetic attitude. Beyond that, though, was the start of a connection that would alter the course of events irrevocably. Judy wasted little time following the divorce from Ronald Levy. She was fully devoted to her vocation as a prosecutor in Manhattan's family court, while also caring for her 2 children on her own. Quite a bit. However, Judy effortlessly tackled difficult tasks and achieved great success. But she was often caught off guard by the unforeseen twists and turns of life. In 1976, after Judy's divorce, she met Jerry Scheinlin at a pub. Their connection would alter the course of their lives in innumerable ways. Upon Judy's arrival at the bar, Jerry, who was practicing defense law at the time, had recently concluded a challenging murder trial. She never minced words and was forthright and smart. They were diametrically opposed initially. As usual, Judy approached Jerry directly and marched up to him. The daring move piqued Jerry's interest, and their serendipitous meeting soon blossomed into an intense romance. Although they seemed to have perfect chemistry in the beginning of their union, things weren't always that way. Even though Jerry and his wife had officially separated, she was still considered his legal spouse. Judy was unimpressed by his suggestion that they live together instead of getting married. Nothing less than a marriage-based commitment was what she desired, and she made it very apparent. Jerry gave in the end, and they were married when Jerry's divorce was finalized in 1977. Just like Judy, Jerry came from an extraordinary family. He met Judy during his childhood in New York City, where he was born and reared. After serving his country in the Korean War, he had a successful career as a criminal defense attorney. Despite his solid legal training, his aspirations extended beyond that. Jerry worked his way up the American judicial ladder and was appointed to the position of administrative law judge in 1980 after having served as a trial judge for New York's highest court. Jerry possessed a remarkable intellect beyond his legal acumen. Along with his other occupation, he authored several books on intricate legal subjects, such as DNA evidence. They became inseparable friends because Judy appreciated his brilliance and ambition. They were successful in the workplace due to more than just their legal expertise. It was about how they encouraged one another, helped one another get over obstacles, and kept moving forward towards their objectives. Judy urged Jerry to take the position of People's Court presiding judge. Despite her already established fame, Judge Judy recruited Jerry because she believed he might offer a fresh perspective to the show. Their strong camaraderie and mutual support shone through during his little stint on the People's Court. There are difficulties that every family faces, and Judy and Jerry's blended family was no exception. They had 5 children between them and needed to figure out a solution. Their number one concern was making sure their children were happy. Jerry made it plain that they shouldn't have their kids around if they were fighting. The good news is that they were able to successfully raise 3 children as a mixed family, and all 3 of them became successful lawyers. Following in their mother's footsteps, Gregory, daughter of Jerry, and Nicole, son of Jerry, entered private practice. Adam, son of Judy, became a television judge, in contrast to Jerry's son, Jonathan, who became an ophthalmologist. Judy's daughter, Jamie, remained largely out of the limelight. Even the most resilient couples experience challenges, regardless of how intimate or deeply they love one another. The stress of their hectic lives, along with their prominent careers and magnetic personalities, cause things to begin to crumble. Time and stress have taken their toll on even the couple's once ideal marriage, which was based on mutual respect and common objectives. Judy and Jerry's marriage hit rock bottom in 1990 after 10 years of marriage. There was no way that a fight or affair could have caused the problem. It was a sad day. The news of her father, Murray Bloom's death, hit Judy like a ton of bricks. Managing her family and her husband were already a heavy burden for her. The role of the family court judge and the emotional fallout from bereavement will be covered. Because of her vulnerability, Judy became even more reliant on her husband. It didn't matter how much Jerry loved her, he still couldn't lead. He required special attention because he was the pessimist who thought nothing would ever change. Still, Judy was missing something. For the first time in his life, he had to step up and be her rock. The more Judy tried to explain it to Jerry, the more frustrated he became. She was served with a demand. She threatened to abandon him if he couldn't handle the stress. Perhaps assuming she was joking, Jerry told her he didn't believe she would follow through and scoffed at the idea. Judy acted mindlessly. She submitted her divorce paperwork the day after that. The harsh truth of a troubled marriage, nothing frivolous. Judy didn't act out of resentment or animosity, but rather out of sheer need. She was determined to give herself the space and time she needed to heal, even if it meant quitting her marriage. But as the days turned into weeks, an odd thing occurred. They came to the realization, when left to their own devices, that they just could not fathom a life apart. an insight that let them see their error emerge from what had begun as a difficult decision. Despite their brief disorientation, the love was evidently still present. It wasn't long until Jerry and Judy reconciled after a time apart. They made up after realizing the importance of each other's needs and learning to appreciate the nuances of their relationship. In spite of the suffering, that brief divorce marked a turning point. This story shows that love isn't always fluffy and rainbows, but it also shows that overcoming adversity may make you stronger. After a disastrous date, Judy was taken aback by how much she enjoyed Jerry's company, even though they hadn't communicated in over a year. The idea that he would have transformed shocked her. Her knowledge of Jerry was already excessive. His presence brought a tranquility that belied the time they had been apart. Even though she knew he would never change his imperfections, she allowed herself to believe that they might still be a suitable match. It was more necessary to move forward with a solid grasp of their own identities than to fix their differences. As time went on and their bond deepened, in an instant, Jerry understood just being physically present wasn't sufficient. It appeared as though something was vanishing. In an instant, he spun around to confront Judy and uttered the words aloud. He preferred not to be constantly by her side till they were married. He needs that guarantee again before he can close the deal. Judy, who was unflappable, was permeating the air. A buddy who was a judge on the New York Supreme Court officiated a short ceremony after they got their marriage licenses right away. Throwing extravagant events or making symbolic gestures was not the point. Their prior knowledge was to be reinforced. Even though they were different, they were stronger when they worked together. Judy and Jerry were always there for one another in their careers. Jerry was the first guy Judy had in years who truly understood her ambition and supported her. It was clear that Jerry was happy to step aside and allow her shine on Judge Judy, considering how successful her career was. Nevertheless, Judy remained at his side throughout, encouraging him to seize the opportunity to be the center of attention on television. The appointment to the People's Court as a judge was formalized. It appeared as though Jerry was unconcerned with Judy being the focus of attention. After all, she had worked for it. Judy insisted her knowledge and determination were her strongest traits, and she never gave any concern to her appearance. She realized, particularly for Jerry, how important it was to attend to her aesthetic and physiological demands. They were together because of their profound love and respect for one another, even if they acknowledged that sexual desire had a part in their relationship as well. They began their second act as husband and wife by building a foundation of mutual understanding, support, and acceptance of each other's shortcomings. It was unrelated to the pursuit of a flawless love narrative. It was intended to be made with them in mind, with its own unique obstacles. They had problems, that much was true, but they had worked through them as a marriage. Through their actions, they demonstrated that genuine love is sufficient and that perfect love is unnecessary.